When talking about carpet flooring fiber options, I usually like to start from the bottom and I work my way to the top. That being said, we're going to start off with a fiber that actually has two different names, polypropylene and olefin. They're both the same product, but it has two different separate names. You can call it whatever you want, it's the same in the end. That being said, let's start off with the pros first when it comes to polypropylene olefin fibers. The pros are simply you can cover a vast, large area, such as a basement application, for a small amount of money, being that it is the least expensive polymer in the industry today. So you're going to most commonly find the polypropylene options in Berber carpet, okay, because that's where you're going to find most of your Berber basement applications. You're going to find Berber installed, or entry-level commercial grade carpet. Now let's talk about the pros. The pros simply are low cost and the fact that the fiber actually has a very casual aesthetic. Okay, hides dirt really well because the majority of them have a lot of fleck running throughout the fiber, a multitude of colors, which hides the dirt and the soiling and the wear and tear of the carpet. Okay, and it gives you it gives you that trackless appeal also. A lot of people don't like to maintain vacuum the carpet daily. They like to maintain their product, let's just say once a week. Berber gives you that because it has, once again, the fleck running throughout it. So you don't see the footprints, you don't see the lint, you don't see the wear and tear as quickly as you do, let's just say, a solid piece of carpet, which is most commonly found in the other three fiber categories. Great. Now let's talk about the negatives. There's probably more negatives, unfortunately, with Berber or polypropylene olefin than there are positives. The biggest negative is simply that the fiber has limited texture retention. What does this mean? Well, when you have a heavy piece of furniture and you apply it and place it upon any olefin carpet, what's going to happen is the fiber is going to crush. And it will never contour back to its original shape. So it's going to mat and never contour back to where it came from. Or if it's a high traffic area like in front of a couch or an entrance to a home, you're going to see the wear and tear quicker in an olefin because the carpet will flatten out and not bounce back up. So it will show wear quicker. The fiber also soils quicker. What does that mean? It collects dirt. It has a tendency to collect dirt more so than other fiber categories. And one of the biggest negatives today that I commonly find with the majority of my clients is the fact that they complain polypropylene just isn't consumer friendly when it comes to comfort. Why is that? Well, the fiber is quite abrasive, and when visiting a store, I suggest interact with the fiber, rub your hand on top of it. There are a few options that are softer than others, but very few in numbers. And when you rub your hand on top of a olefin polypropylene fiber, and you interact with other fibers throughout the store, you're going to find not so soft to the touch. Okay? And that is basically the pros and cons of olefin polypropylene. Let's move to PET next. The next fiber category is polyester. PET Continuum Polyester from Mohawk. And God, sky is the limit when it comes to PET. There are a wealth of options. You can move into a Berber product when it comes to PET, and God, if you walk up to a olefin polypropylene PET and walk up to any olefin polypropylene polymer and walk up to any PET Berber, and you'll see immediately the major difference between the two: softness, comfort. God, this is night and day from any olefin polypropylene when it comes to comfort. Then you can go with a simple tonal. What tonals do is they basically give you something that's a little bit more stylish, has a little more pizzazz than, let's say, a simple plain Jane piece of fuzz. You'll see there's two different yarns wrapped together, hides the dirt a little bit better than a solid piece of carpet, hides the lint a little bit better, and adds a little flavor to the room. And then you have your simple piece of fuzz. A lot of people love it. Bedrooms, den applications, living rooms. Just want to cover the floor and keep it simple as can be. Nondescript. PET gives it to you. Or you can move into patterns, designs. There's a wealth of options. And then what a lot of people today are moving away from, once again, is the Berber product based upon comfort and aesthetics. Berber has a very commercial look to it and a very commercial feel to it. And so what we've done is basically we added the fleck into a residential cut pile product in PETs. And what it does, it gives you the comfort of a softer yarn system, okay? But it gives it to you in a more pleasant, casual design than, let's say, the Berber olefin polypropylene fibers we discussed earlier do. Great. Now, what exactly is PET? Well, PET, quite simply, is recycled Pepsi bottles, recycled water bottles. What Mohawk, the world's largest recycler of Pepsi bottles, does is we take your bottle, we clean them, we chop them up, scour them, we extrude the fiber, okay, we turn it into a yarn, and then we tuft it into your carpet, okay? So let's get into the pros and cons of polyester. More pros this time than there are cons. One of the biggest pros is, once again, it's a second source polymer. It's something that should have been thrown in a landfill, and it's actually being second source into your floor today. All right, let's talk about cost. When it comes down to PET and olefin, they're both basically in the same price range. Okay, so if you had to choose your poison between a PET and olefin, I would imagine most people would gravitate to PET because the cost is basically the same nowadays. All right, cleanliness. There are very few things that can stain a PET fiber. Incredibly stain resistant. Kool-Aid won't affect it. Spill soda, red wine will not affect it, even if it lies overnight. PET doesn't take the stains, and that's what makes it so popular for parents. It's inexpensive, once again, and good for the environment, and incredibly stain resistant. All right, now let's get into the negatives. PET has what we call limited texture retention. Okay, so when you walk on the fiber, just like the olefin polypropylene fiber, it's very difficult for it to bounce back and contour back to its original shape, even if you vacuum it, even if you steam clean the fiber. It has very limited texture retention. So we strongly recommend the PET fiber category in low to moderate traffic applications, such as spare bedrooms, in-law rooms, basement applications. You're flipping a house, you want to cover a large area for a small amount of money. PET 100%. It is the ultimate in value engineering carpet flooring today. Working our way up, next stop, nylon. Nylon is tried and true. When people are out searching for carpet, usually what they'll say when they walk through the door is, if they're looking for an area for high performance halls and steps, active areas such as dens, usually they're going to ask for a nylon product. And why is that? Well, let's talk about the positives with nylon. Nylon has incredible durability. When you put a piece of furniture on top of nylon or you walk on it, nylon has a tendency to bounce back up. The fiber always contours back to where it came from. If it doesn't, at least it's trying to. And if you have the carpet professionally steam cleaned, odds are it should bounce back up to its original appearance. Okay. Unfortunately, that's the only positive I can give you when it comes down to nylon. Now let's get into the negatives. Well, the cost of nylon has skyrocketed over the years, and there is a tremendous delta between the cost of what we discussed earlier, PET polyester and nylon. Okay? And when you're in a store looking at polyester and you're looking at nylon, it's incredibly difficult to tell the difference between a nylon product and a polyester product. And I tell you, technology's come a long way when it comes down to nylon. If you take a look here at our Homeland Select product, 1/10 gauge yarn, it has that rough, abrasive, tight, dense hand that some people just adore. They love a tight, dense pile of carpet, and that's something that nylon can give you. But technology's come a long way, and as just like the polyester, there are a wealth of options when it comes to design, color, with the nylon fiber category. As you see here, you can get a wealth of options when it comes to design, and once again, color options. Right here is a solid nylon and incredibly soft. Now, what makes that nylon feel abrasive and this nylon feels so soft? If you were here, you would see one feels almost like sandpaper. The other feels like cotton. Why is one softer than the other, yet they're both categorized as nylon? Simple. Just like bedding sheets. When you buy bedding sheets and you look at a 400 thread count set of sheets,
and you look at 1,000 count set of sheets. The more fiber per square inch, you get a softer set of sheets, and also you get a longer lasting performing set of sheets. Well, the same goes for carpeting. What the manufacturers do today is that they put more fiber, microfilaments, basically, in each tuft, more filaments in each tuft, and what that allows the carpet to do is get softer, but more importantly, it adds to the carpet's durability. So most people would think a tight, dense pile of nylon would perform better than a soft, loose, casual nylon, but it's actually just the polar opposite. The looser, casual, softer yarn will outperform the older, antiquated construction as shown earlier. Now, that's basically the positives with nylon. The negatives simply are, once again, the cost. Incredibly, it's basically the most expensive polymer in the industry. Artificial. Next would be wool, but that's obviously a natural fiber. The biggest negative that I have with nylon is that all nylons are treated for stain and soil resistance. But once through traffic, when you vacuum the fiber, you walk on it, especially after you steam clean the fiber, it has a tendency to stain and stain easily. Why is that? If you looked at a piece of nylon underneath a microscope, you would see the fiber, the polymer, is incredibly porous, like a sponge. Just imagine looking at a sponge. And if you were to spill, let's say, Kool-Aid on top of that sponge, and it were white, what color would the sponge be? It would turn pink or red, whatever color the Kool-Aid is. Well, the same thing happens with nylon because it's incredibly porous. It's always looking to take the color. Therefore, nylon's not great for an area where there's a lot of activity going on. Let's say we're eating, we're drinking, it's a den application, spilling of food, or dirt being released from shoes and whatnot. Because once you have that carpet cleaned, odds are those activities will continue and you will not be able to remove those stains from this fiber category, unfortunately, the second time over. So that's pretty much your pros and cons of nylons. Thank you. The next fiber is Triexta. Triexta Smart Strand by DuPont. What an amazing product. The creme de la creme of all fiber categories. Smart Strand basically encompasses all of the best characteristics of every other fiber category, all in one at an incredible price. But let's talk about what is Triexta. Triexta is a polymer that is sourced from corn, turned into ethanol, and then turned into carpet flooring. Now, what makes Triexta so popular and the creme de la creme of fibers, you're asking? Well, these are all great questions. Just like the other fiber categories, polyester, PET, and nylon, there's a wealth of options when it comes to design. Okay? There's a wealth of options when it comes to Berber applications. And God, if you thought the polyester Berbers were soft, wait till you feel the Smart Strand Berbers. Okay? And then you also have your solid textures, as you did with all the other fiber categories, excluding polypropylene and olefin. And then you have your casual textures as you work your way down also. So for those active areas where you're wearing your shoes, the kids, you don't want to see the lint from the socks, dog hairs, etc., etc. There's really, the sky is the limit once again when it comes to Triexta fiber by Smart Strand. Okay, so let's talk about the pros and cons of Smart Strand. Well, there is a wealth of pros, and really, I can't really find any cons. Well, let's get into the biggest pro. Smart Strand offers you the same durability as nylon. Okay? If you looked at the fiber under a microscope, you would see basically there's a kink in the fiber's DNA. And what does that do for you? Well, when you walk on the fiber, it always contours back to where it came from. Okay? You put a heavy piece of furniture on it. You remove that piece of furniture. By itself, it should just contour back to its original shape. Maybe sometimes a little vacuuming is necessary, but really not so much when we're talking about the Triexta fiber category. Amazing, hard to believe, but true. Okay, incredibly soft. If you interact with the Smart Strand Triexta fiber, you'll find that it's softer than any other fiber category in the industry today. So we have durability, we have comfort, two of the key factors that drive consumers to any carpet purchase today. Okay, well, let's get into why people replace carpets. Well, they soil, they stain quite easily. And that's why people are moving more into the resilient market and away from carpeting, because they're not introduced to the Triexta fiber category. But once again, I said the Triexta fiber category offers all the benefits of all the other fiber categories in one fiber. So when it comes down to stain resistance, it is the only fiber in the industry that gives you a true pet warranty, and that's called All Pet Guarantee, Pet Protection and Warranty. What does this mean? Well, any type of pet stain, it doesn't matter. Dog, cat, bird, you have a cow in your house, we don't discriminate. Urine, feces, throw up, doesn't matter. Any of those sort of stains cannot penetrate the fiber because the fiber is basically closed cell construction. It doesn't allow stains to penetrate into the fiber. Therefore, it never loses or discolors like nylon polyester fibers. Okay, that's huge. So we have a carpet that you can spill bleach on, red wine on, your animals can have accidents on, and it's covered for the life of the carpet. The stain resistance doesn't wear off over time. So we have a carpet that is incredibly durable, incredibly soft, slightly less expensive than nylon, and incredibly stain resistant. And those are pretty much your main pros when it comes to Triexta Smart Strand. Negatives? Please contact me. Let me know if you can find one. I'm still looking for one. And that's basically it when it comes to Triexta. Thank you.